Will changing title to an LLC immediately call your loan due? In this video, I'm going to give you 3 pieces of advice so you can put your home in an LLC and not get in trouble with your lender. Hi, this is Rick Elmendorf, and on this channel, I give you my opinions, advice, and real talk about mortgage and real estate. So if you like the content and you haven't already, please consider subscribing. First off, why has this even become an issue? You see, lending to an LLC is really expensive and it requires a lot more money down, higher rates, more costs, and normally has much less favorable terms. I'm telling you, it's not your grandma's 30-year fixed mortgage. And because of all the negatives, the typical consumer that wants to purchase a rental property simply buys it in their own name. Other possibilities are that you may have purchased the home as an owner-occupied or as a secondary home, vacation home, and now you want to convert it to a full-time rental. Then you were advised to create an LLC to mitigate risk. And here we are. But on to the question of what happens when you change title from the personal to an LLC. If you look online, you're going to see a bunch of advice telling you not to do this, that it'll accelerate this due on sale clause. A due on sale clause is the provision in a mortgage contract that requires the borrower to pay the lender the full balance of the loan upon the sale or transfer of ownership of that property that secures the mortgage. Basically, in other words, the lender is going to require immediate repayment of the loan just because you titled your home in an LLC. But the question remains, does putting title into an LLC really do this? In other words, is the lender going to require immediate repayment of the loan just because you titled your home in an LLC? Before I get to my advice, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. It sure does help out a lot. Also, be sure to stay till the end because number 3 is the best piece of advice you're ever going to hear on this topic. My experience has been that mortgage companies like to get paid. When you pay them, they typically don't bother you. Just because title of the home got transferred to an LLC doesn't necessarily ring the alarm bells. What does ring the bells is if you stop paying them. So please keep paying your lender. Otherwise, what mainly bothers a lender is when you put their security interest at risk. When ownership changes on a home and the people that are supposed to pay the loan doesn't, this poses a risk to the lender. I mean, think about it. The new owner isn't the one that originally the lender loaned money to. So that's why the due on sale clause is justified. And technically, when you title the property to an LLC, you're officially changing ownership. However, there are ways to not have that cause you problems. So without further ado, here are my 3 pieces of advice. Number 1, don't ask your lender if it's okay. Please don't call the lender and tell them what you're doing. Bottom line is that you never know who you're going to get on the phone and who they're going to get involved. My advice is to keep paying your mortgage and keep the lender blissfully ignorant. Number 2, don't change the insurance. Keep insurance to the property in your name. This is one of the things that can tip off a lender and they'll start asking questions. Number 3, keep the parties of ownership the same as the mortgage. Now, this is the biggie. Make sure the LLC is owned by the same people that are on the mortgage. For example, if you bought a property with your spouse, then the LLC should be owned by you and your spouse. The key is that the parties of ownership have not changed, and it could be your get out of jail card with your lender. What you don't want to do is title the property in an LLC that is owned by more or less parties. For example, don't title the property in an LLC that has 3 other partners, and don't title the property to a sole-owned LLC if you and your spouse, or someone else for that matter, is on the mortgage. Because in neither case would this match the mortgage note, and it could give you problems. All in all, putting a rental property in an LLC is not problematic if you follow my advice. Just remember, keep the ownership of the LLC with the same parties that are on your mortgage, and you should be okay. And obviously, pay your mortgage. I'd love to know in the comments if you've ever had any issues with changing from personal to an LLC, if your lender's ever given you problems with that. I'd really love to know about that. Also, I'd like to suggest that you watch this video.